Hey guys, Ricky here from Connerty Meadows Farm. It is February 15th, 16th, I don't know, something like that in Ontario, Canada. And we are actually in for a huge snowstorm tonight. I think like 30 plus centimeters of snow or some ridiculousness like that. And then the minus 20s with the wind chills. So I thought it'd be a really great time to start my peppers. Okay, yeah, I'm a little crazy, but I want to know that spring is coming. So anyway, my soil's in here, my buckets are in here. I gotta dig them out. Anybody else's garden shed look like this? Nope, just me? Okay. Well, I'm going to plant my pepper seeds. My bag of Pro Mix is back there, so wish me luck. I did it. That was fun. Maybe in the fall I shouldn't put stuff back in such a mess. Anyway, this is the stuff that I use to start all of my plant starts. I won't be bringing that bag into the house. What I do is transfer that bag into this Tupperware bin. And then what I can do is add boiling hot water to the Tupperware bin to scald off any bugs or anything that might have decided to hang out in there over the fall, hanging out in my shed. Well, 3/4 full. By the time I add water, probably about half full. That's all right. That's a good start. Okay. I didn't clean it. I have no intention of. Spring will be here and I'll clean then. We've went ahead, we've had this in the house for 3 or 4 days now. It's had time to thaw. You can see there's some wet spots in there. And now we're gonna go ahead and get ready to disinfect the soil that's in there. Now I personally disinfect the soil that I'm using in the house because it's been out in the shed. And if there was any bugs that decided to move in over the last summer, I want to make sure that they're not harbored in the soil and then flying around my house and getting at the house plants that I do have that are alive in here right now, or killing off the seedlings. So what we do to disinfect is we boil water. It might take me a couple potfuls, but I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna boil water and then we'll pour it over the soil.
We're going to work very quickly after we pour the pot in, stirring the soil and then putting the lid on to keep it hot. Next pot, same thing, stir, lid on, and the last pot, the same thing. And you'll see that there is still some dry bits, which is why it's very important to stir. And then we put the lid on to steam it, and that kills everything in it.
Now that we have gone ahead and disinfected our soil, we are going to go ahead and fill all of our pots and get ready to plant some seeds.
All of the pots that I'm using are recycled, and the trays are from Amazon. They're a very thick, heavy tray, and they work absolutely fantastic. I think they're very similar to what your bootstrap farmer trays would be in the States. We don't have something like that here in Canada. That's why I ordered from Amazon. Anyway, so I'm going to fill 3 trays full of the wet but cool soil. We've given it time to cool down. That's very important. I think it was probably about a day or 2 before I went ahead and potted. Because if you try to pot when it's hot, 1, you're going to burn yourself. 2, it's not going to work because they haven't had time to properly disinfect. So this is the lighting that I use. We, again, don't have anything local here in Canada, so I ordered these on Amazon. I have 4 of them. I absolutely love them. They're a great brand. And then I use all of these clips from the dollar store to clip my lights on to raise it to the right height. Now right now obviously it's higher than it needs to be because we are not putting any seeds in them. So there's a timer and a control for my heat mats, and I hook them all up on the side here. I've got a nice little system going. So the one I'm doing right now, it has a probe that goes down into the soil, and then it knows to turn the heat mat on or off according to how hot the soil is, and I can set the temperature how how warm I want the soil to be before it kicks in.
I'm going to start some hot pepper seeds. Some of them, like this one, wear gloves while planting these seeds. Means they're a little hot. I'm not a super fan of hot peppers, Thomas is, so that's what I plant them for. I've got some tweezers that I'm gonna use. Before we get started planting, I'm just gonna go over and show you what I actually use for our seeds. This is one of my 3 seed containers that I have. These are picture frame boxes. Now I live in Canada, and so I grabbed these from a store called Michael's. You can actually get the same one with clear ones inside. I use colored ones. And what I do is I will put the information on the box. So for example, this one tells me this is a direct sow item, and then it's beans. This one says it's a cold sow, so when it's cold outside, and it's radishes. And I go through direct sow squash. And I go through in all of my bins, and I have that information on them. So for this one, even on the front of it, I have direct sow 6 to 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, and then inside, six to 8 weeks, sweet peppers. 8 to 10 weeks, leeks and onions. So everything in these is labeled for very easy access and very easy way for me to find everything I need. And I have them arranged as to when to plant them. The last one I have is my herbs and flowers, and again, it's set up the same way. It'll tell me 6 to 8 weeks and what it is and whatnot, all on the little bins inside. They're a great way to keep your seeds organized if you're doing it kind of on a small scale. So right now, I am going to go ahead and I'm gonna start planting some of the hot peppers. So hot peppers need a little bit more time than the other peppers. So I usually start my hot peppers first, and then 2 weeks later, I start my sweet peppers. So today, everything that I'm going to be planting is hot peppers.
So I am using the tweezers to plant all the seeds, so I don't want to touch them. And then I'm using a paint pen on my labels. Now the paint pen ensures that as the summer goes on, the coloring doesn't wear out. I couldn't find any local, so I had to order on Amazon a couple years back. This paint pen is probably 2 years old, but I don't do a massive amount.
I have this one whole tray completely filled now with seeds. I'm gonna put the plastic cover on here, and it's gonna go onto my shelf, onto the heat mat. Now remember that the soil is damp because when I put the soil in here, I also boiled it. So it's already damp. So I don't actually need to add more water to those. If you were using dry soil, you would definitely need to give them a quick spritz. Now, tomorrow I will probably take a spray bottle and I'll spritz the top just to make sure that it's nice and damp. And then I'll be spritzing it once a day. Just lightly to make sure it stays nice and damp in there until I start to see growth. And then once I see growth, I'll start to bottom water. I'm gonna go ahead and get the other 2 trays all planted up. All right, guys, I've got 3 trays now planted with hot peppers. You can already see this one's warming up nicely. These 2 will be along probably not too long after. This one just has the heat mat its whole distance, and these 2 are sharing a heat mat, so they're just going to take a little bit longer. That is our setup, And once these pop up, I'll do another video and show you what we do for the next step. Last thing that I do with the seeds on the shelf is I put this on them. So those are the peppers that we planted a couple weeks back now. I have some tin foil, and this is actually what they call an emergency blanket. I got it at the dollar store. So that's what it looks like. And they spit the heat back in, and they keep the light back in so that it keeps it really nice and bright in here. And with the lights on, so I have the window as well as the lights, and then this reflects all the light back in for all the seeds. So you can see I have it on the corner here and on the corner here, and then in the front. And then that's how we keep all of our seeds nice and warm and with lots of light. So there's our seeds that we planted. Well, they're not seeds anymore. And you can see on my light system, I just changed the these little guys around, the clips, to the height that I need them to be. And in this case, the ones down there are a little smaller, so the light is on a little bit of an angle. Everybody's doing good. And that is our seed setup. It's fairly basic, doesn't cost a lot of money, and I get really great plants out of this. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time on the farm.